So Chris, I've been lucky enough to invest in several companies that you've been involved with. Obviously, Lattice.io, Samba Nova, Snorkel. I'm sure there'll be many more. I've always been super impressed in your diverse set of A+ people who are around you at all points in time, people who are attracted to team with you, and your ability to identify people who can identify other A+ talent and recruit and retain them. I've been impressed at your direct feedback in the boardroom and at your focus, your ability to always keep track of the three things that actually matter and help entrepreneurs understand that those are the three things to keep focusing on over time. I'm curious to know from you, over the course of these three different companies, how have you evolved as a serial entrepreneur?
Yeah, thanks. And first, Dave, we've done three things together, and I hope to do a bunch more. I think one of the things that you identified there, and I love that phrase that you always use, kind of A+ humans, is really to identify those people that are really long-lasting and long-lived relationships. Very often, people view their interactions with investors and customers really transactionally, and is both of us kind of understand that's not really the case. These are long-lived partnerships that can help you refine and understand your own ideas just a little bit better. And so I think those are the things that we look for when we partnering with various people. And so it's always been easy to kind of partner up and then go grab other folks to get involved in these kinds of apparatus. And so you also mentioned diversity there, and grabbing a diverse set of people that's around you who have viewpoints that you value is actually fairly rare, unfortunately, these days. And I know people want to, but that's something that allows these teams to come together to solve really vastly different sets of problems with one another. And back to your earlier question, I think when we first started chatting, I think our first conversation was at a Coupa, maybe over in GSB at some point, way back in the pre-Lattice days, and we were thinking about doing this. And we really started talking about how this technology could be brought to market, and it was very clear that you understood where we were coming from, you saw what we wanted to do, but you were strong in your own thesis and kind of viewpoint. You weren't just a cheerleader. You really kind of intellectually engaged with us about how would this unfold and challenged our thinking. And that is just so valuable because so many people, as you know, out here are willing to kind of rah about, hey, this is a great way to do that. And that's great. And, let me write you a check kind of thing. But actually to build a partnership where we thought, hey, this is interesting. And I think the other bit, as you mentioned, as we evolved, we were, as you remember, kind of scared, academic babes in the wood, poking our heads out when we were starting. We didn't really know what kind of the venture landscape was all about, and we didn't understand what these partnerships had looked like. And we'd heard a whole host of things around kind of how they could go wrong. And one of the things that was really exciting to me as we've evolved is that you're one of the few people I call right away when I have an idea to try and understand, hey, do you think this is viable? And understanding that these are kind of these long-lived relationships, I think, is one of the most valuable things for a serial entrepreneur. And it is actually, to me, in the last couple of years, been really kind of happy and freeing, because I realize when I'm talking to someone, it's not a zero-sum game. There's so many times when someone, right now, I'd love to work with person X, often, someone you've introduced me to or someone in our networks introduced me to, and I realize maybe we won't work together now, but we can work together down the road. Or maybe I can help you avoid some of the mistakes I made. Maybe this is a long-winded way of saying, like, when I started, I was pretty bad at this. But as you kind of evolved in Silicon Valley, I think you realize, kind of these truisms that you hear at the beginning, that the relationships matter a ton more than almost everything else, because being able to have those honest conversations, those difficult conversations, those interesting conversations is just really, really important. And so I hope, as I've been around in Silicon Valley a longer time, I've been able to help more people and engage with more people. So that's been the big, I hope, change for me.